There's somebody online too.
Could be. There's supposed to be some, but you know how that goes, right?
Is it being recorded?
Yes.
Oh wow, that will be fun. Send it to my class up in Canada.
I will.
It's going to be fun.
I will. Okay, so this is Harsh. He's I guess. Yes. He's originally from India, but is Canadian. He lives in Canada. And he's here to teach us how to make a roti. Which, by the way, is absolutely delicious. I had some already. All it needs is some stuff to scoop it in.
Yes. So you made something in the morning, right? Like a curry?
Did you guys make sweet made sauce or something?
Yeah, it was, what was it? The meat sauce, bolognese?
Bolognese, yes.
Yeah. So you can have that with what we are going to make. Oh boy. I have an extended class today. Oh, no.
Bolognese is upstairs in the refrigerator. Okay, sounds good.
There's some sauce in the container. There's also some pasta with the sauce already in it. So like already.
We need some bread dipping stuff.
Okay.
I'll get it. You guys stay here.
What do you need?
Just the bolognese so that we can have it with the roti.
Yep, I got you. Enjoy. I'll be right back. This is simple. You can do it.
Okay, so hello, my name is Harshal. Last name is last name is Gunde. Gunde in my native language means a bunch of thugs.
A bunch of thugs.
Usually it's a swear word in my native language. So very few of us have that last name.
That's interesting.
And usually people remember me because of my last name. So nobody knows my first name. So anyway, just to tell you, so I grew up in India, helped my mom since I was 8. And I don't know what my mom's issue was. I was the only child, but she made me work in the kitchen and everywhere. So in hindsight, it made me understand cooking. And otherwise, I'm an engineer. I'm a civil engineer and environmental engineer. And I do a few things, but I love cooking. So while I was working with Joe, okay, why don't I show you how I eat food every day? So this is our quickest roti, which is a staple in southern part of India. So if you look at the Indian map and whenever you go to an Indian restaurant, you'll have the rotis, which are thick, right? And usually like the naan and the bread, they're usually thick. But as you go southern part of India, wherever there's no winter or whatever, we don't use much like anything with yeast or anything which limits up or with anything that you ferment because it's hot. So because it is hot, it will get fermented really fast. So we don't have to get into that. So we make these 10 rotis. My wife, my mother-in-law, they would do it every day. So typically, this is not exactly the flour we use. Usually in the Indian grocery store, you will find a different kind of flour, which is because the quality of wheat is different. So I'm just going to show you some. So it's like quick thing. Now they have even automated this process. So you do have so you just take some flour.
You're saying that this is not normally a flour?
No, yeah, it's a bit. What happens with whole wheat flour in the Western cooking is you prepare the regular flour and then you put the bran back in it. Okay, whereas the Indian flour is finer than this, and they just take the whole wheat and they just crush it. So it's just pure wheat flour. So there's no whole wheat or whatever. So it has. What happens is here, because they reconstitute the flour, the gluten is usually a bit lower in whole wheat flour, whereas in the Indian flour that you get, the gluten will be a bit more, so it will get much softer.
So what you're saying is like with white flour, right? They just take the husk off of it, right? So they just remove it and then they put it back in to make the wheat flour. Is kind of what you're saying. So, but in your country, what do they do? Just leave it? They just leave it whole.
Leave it off.
Which is the way, it probably should be, right?
Yeah,
Goes like in the beginning. Exactly.
The problem with that flour is you can't do good cakes. Okay, so that's why when you end up having to make cakes, because it's coarser than your fine flour which you use for cakes, and that's where it becomes. And One thing you have to remember, cakes were a food in the colder countries because there's always a hot stove because of the heat in the house, and you could just put something and it will bake. In India and those parts, fuel is very expensive. So usually we don't bake stuff. Baking is now a new concept because it takes hours. For them, it's like quick, do it. And the other problem with Indian food is you make too many things. A plate has to have, if you look at a traditional plate, about 7 different items. That's our minimum. And if you go to a nice restaurant and you say, okay, about food, it'll be usually about 20, 22 items when you have the traditional cooking. When you go to a restaurant here, it's a very British version of the food that it is. Okay. So let's keep going. I'm just going to make the dough. I have made some because I wanted to try out. I didn't want to mess it up in front of all of you guys. Just a little bit of salt, too much. Again, I'm not a classical chef, so I've not been trained like you guys. Sorry about all the stuff I'll do because I'm more of a home cook. So some salt, a little bit of water, and you start just kneading it. And towards the end, you will put some oil onto it.
How many times do you think you've done that? How many times do you think you made this? Yeah.
Many times. Hundreds.
Like thousands of times?
Probably. I've probably made 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
That's why I was asking that. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what we eat, and this is how we would quickly make it. And so you usually have a curry with it. You can't eat it after. So that's why I was asking if there's something. So in the morning, I came in the morning, I saw something nice. So it's typically so. Huh? Yeah, you can have it. Now, the other thing I do back home is India has a lot of millets. So there are some millet flours which go well with it. So it's like the red millet flour. So I'll mix a little bit because just to increase the protein content, but then rolling it becomes an issue.
What's millet? Millet flour?
So it depends how loose or how.
What is millet flour?
Huh?
It's whole grain flour. It's just whole flour. What's
So around here, we've been using a lot of grains like chickpeas.
so millet is a grain separate from okay.
Yeah. So India is a place of pulses. You have to see if you look at geographically, that's the only country other than Africa in that latitudes, right? It's towards the equator, and that is a unique weather condition. So a lot of the recipes, what happened was they're like grass. It grows everywhere, all those lentils. And then they started figuring out what is good. Again, a lot of vegetarian food. So millets is the source of protein.
Okay.
And that's why. So red millet is very good at being high in proteins and amino acids. So I'll mix that a little bit in this.
Okay.
It'll change the taste, and my son won't like it. It'll make a little bit bitter. But
It's a typical thing for people in your country to be vegetarian.
yes.
Yeah.
It's more religious.
Very typical
Very. And yeah, and I don't know over time we just made and usually it was women oriented, that women cook. Oh man, the amount of cooking you have to do, the amount of dishes, it's like the woman is always inside.
So you're vegetarian?
I eat anything
Okay.
other than a human.
though.
Yeah.
At least so far.
So
And it's,
far,
nah, I
we haven't had the
wouldn't-
opportunity yet.
I told you if we crashed to the Andes, we would eat them too.
Yes, if push comes to shove, yes. And a little bit of any oil. Typically in India, you don't get olives, so you use peanut oil. Okay, regular peanut oil. That will give a distinctly different flavor. Little bit. You don't have to.
Have you ever thought about how you would cook that person if like
Well, it's.
I've thought about that.
I think I tasted gorilla meat when I was in Kenya, in Uganda.
Okay.
So it'll be similar.
Okay. What kind of meat was it?
Gorilla.
Gorilla.
It's the same ape family.
Wow.
The only problem is humans are the most toxic creatures. We are not good
Not good to eat now.
because we put a lot of.
I was waiting for some
And
shocking. I was
I've
waiting for
traveled
something. I'm
And
like,
I've worked in 12 countries in the world. So I've been to Ukraine also. I've been had, but not in the cities which they're bombing.
So how?
Huh? Nothing, you can't figure out. By the way, all meats are similar. It's a texture which changes. Again, meats have very little taste. It's all the seasonings. So gorilla meat was tough. It was tough. Horse meat was the toughest, I think,
Horse.
in Uzbekistan.
So like, would they cook it like how a steak would look essentially?
No.
Or how is it served?
The steak is a very American thing. So much meat on a plate is a very American thing.
So is it like
Smaller pieces.
smaller, like chopped meat?
Yeah.
Like,
And usually it will be mixed with rice pilaf or something. Yeah, the way steak is eaten here, I've never seen. In Germany, it's much smaller pieces.
but the steak.
Everything, all the meat. Okay, so this is kind of the consistency I would come to. Okay, this is for, I'll leave it for, then what to do is quick and easy. Again, Indian cooking is all about hands, so because we didn't have enough water as well. So that's why we don't use spoons and forks and all. It's all by hand because that's all you have. You can just go and wash your hands and stuff. Cleaning all the utensils.
okay.
No dishwashers. The moms had to do it. Anyway, sorry, I go into the philosophy of Indian cooking, but I want to explain it. Right? That came out better than now.
It's Chinese culture, like how hair is set up.
So then you take the rolling pin
You know, she don't utensils for a restaurant.
and we have a bowl. A bowl.
He said, "Ah." I was like, all right, all right, all right.
Please. I'm not used to it. Okay.
Flour, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, right next one.
And then we'll use, like if it was Indian, I would have used the same flour, but because that's forced, I'm just going to use a little on purpose just to test it out. So yes, usually when a girl gets married and she comes to her in-laws place, it's a tradition in India. The first time you make her do this, you want to see what country's map she makes. Is it going to be the moon, or is it going to be Australia, or is it going to be the Indian continent?
She can make any shape she wants.
No, because it
Supposed
has
to
to
be
be
round.
round, but she's not talented to get
Okay,
it round.
okay. Okay.
I don't know. I'm going to get you guys to play with it later.
Test her ability to be a good wife.
So
Make
does
a round-
so does her mom teach her how to make a proper roti? So when she's put in that
Usually, yeah.
situation,
So
she
like my mom, she never real. So the whole thing is, my mom never taught me anything, but she made me help her out.
okay. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, so she won't say, okay, do it this way. She'll just say, okay, this is how I'm doing it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so if you start making it, mix it with dry, it'll start getting drier. Okay, so this is not what you want. Okay, because you want to roll it as thin as possible. So if you use the regular Indian roti, you can be like really thin. And then usually a good eater would have about 10 of them. Small eater like me, I usually have about 4 of them.
And all it's used is to pick up your food, right? Pretty much.
And it gives a carbohydrate layer
Mhm.
to it. That's about the only carbs which is there on my plate.
Okay.
This and then a little bit of rice. So as you go south in India, you start eating more rice. You don't have too much wheat. As you go north, you eat less rice. You eat more wheat. So we are in the middle. So we eat rice and wheat.
A little bit of each.
And I think we were very patriarchal that we made the women do all that because
Yeah.
it's double
Are you
cooking.
spinning it like that as you're
Okay.
doing it on purpose? Because that's
No.
really cool looking now.
Yeah,
You see how he's doing that?
Yeah.
It's spinning around as he's rolling it back and forth.
yeah. So that comes with practice.
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
yeah. And
I've never seen
Yeah,
that
no,
before.
I did.
That's how you make a round circle.
I can make a round circle, but I've never done like that. That's awesome.
yeah, you would do it.
You would move
multiple
the pin
times.
around.
I move it, I remove it, move it
Yeah,
out.
so that is where the whole practice comes, and whether you had a good
Wow, look at that.
teacher who spanked you, if it doesn't, it's like,
Give me goosebumps.
So now you don't have to tell them now, you gotta tell them how to eat it.
huh?
You gotta tell them how to eat it.
Yes, that is later, not now.
Okay.
I'm giving you the history behind so that you understand. And so Indian food, as I said, no water. So your hands. What he's asking is, in your hands, you use only the the dominant hand. Okay, if you are a right-handed, you never bring the left hand on your table. It's always behind because you know what you use the left hand for. So if you ever brought it, my grandma would have spanked, like
Okay.
hit me like this. So you use your hands and only the tips of your fingers. Is that hard enough?
I think so.
Okay. And I have practice, so I'll do it with hands, but otherwise you can use. My wife still uses a tongue. My mother-in-law doesn't. Clarified. Ghee. Yeah, you don't have ghee, right? You have it?
I didn't see none in the walk. I looked earlier.
It was like a tiny little container.
Okay, that's it. 2 times, and then put it on fire.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Like a tortilla.
Okay, that's it. Don't do it too much, otherwise it will get hard. Get some oil or clarified butter.
He was right next to you.
What? Oh, just the oil. Okay. Then give me a small spoon. Otherwise it will get hard. Okay. So the other thing about food, I think all of you guys go to Indian restaurants, but nobody teaches you how to eat it. So you have this. Usually it is folded. Let's put some. What are we going to have?
One pops out.
Okay. So usually even utensils, typically it's a plate. So this is how you have it. So again, only the tips. This it shouldn't get dirty here. You break it. Take this. Go ahead.
She's already there.
It was a show, doubling back her.
Yeah. That's the hard part. You got to break it with that one hand.
One hand you gotta
One.
Yeah, you can use both your
You
hands.
can get practice. You can get practice after you feel it.
Okay.
I've always been amazed when they use rice to pick food up with. Because I've been in a situation and I make a mess of myself. And I look at everybody else doing it and they're all clean. And they have these beautiful scoops of
Yeah,
rice and I got it all over me. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
It's years of practice, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yesterday, I would have been lousy eating the meal with the fork and spoon because I've never been taught how to eat it.
Yeah.
Like, I never think that the fork should be the other way. I always
Okay,
think it
yeah.
should be like a spoon.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, scoop it. So for me, it's always difficult because we
Yeah.
never learned it.
Yeah.
Like, it's all about what you.
Do you want to make another?
Sure.
Or can we try?
You want to try?
There's a lot.
There's a lot. Usually this gets dry, so you have to keep kneading it or cover it.
Yeah. Dino, you're surprising me. Right now. Job.
Want to do it?
Yeah.
That's all I need. Plenty of sauce to taste it.
Do you have one more?
Another board?
No, where's the big one? You don't want to bring. Do you want to sit up here?
I don't even know this.
I don't think so.
Big cutting board?
The large pasta board.
Pasta board, I don't have it. so-
Anything, cutting board.
I'll go get a board out of the back.
No, I was just going to get multiple so that I can keep making, so that we can have it. Yeah, yeah, so that you're standing next, instead of me just seeing and telling, I'm doing it with you. Okay.
Either one, don't matter. It's, you like the pin you like better. No Susie homemakers in my house. Working okay, yes?
Yeah, it'll work okay, like just the cleanliness part of it.
Oh, the counter's very clean.
I showed it right before you came up. Right.
Okay.
So you're pressing down hard on one side, and that's just making it spin.
I don't know what happened.
That's what you're doing.
There's a little more weight on one side.
Yeah.
Always causes an approach. As long as, it's the same as when you're making a, like I do a lot of gingerbread certain times of the year. If you keep your board the right texture, it doesn't crack. Okay, so it's the same.
Yeah. And the other thing is the consistency of it. If it make it very loose, it won't do this. So you have to have it the right way. Yeah.
All sorts of things out.
That's what the job's about, right? And then the ultimate exam. Are they gonna like it when it's done?
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Come on. I was just practicing, seeing if it.
Can I try with this thing?
Yeah, come on.
From here?
White flour down.
From here, from there, you can take that too. The one in the shrink wrap is also, I made it in the morning.
But how big is your bowl? About 2 tablespoons? Is this, is that a normal size?
Yeah, make it. It'll become smaller. That's fine.
At home, I make my own tortillas. It's a similar process.
Yeah.
So you don't use a rolling pin if you're able to use a press.
So this one, if you press, doesn't come out so well.
No, it wouldn't.
You have to go.
You tried to press it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the bolt, the rolling part is causing the additional of those
Layers.
physics layers you're talking about. Those physics layers are very important.
Yes. I'm going to go up because. Do we have a plate? You just need a little of the oil. Keep tapping it.
There's another board right there.
You're trying.
Don't worry.
Just go straight.
Oh, my wife has been making it for so long, but the way she makes it, it never rolls.
Mine's not rolling.
Yeah, as long as, so that's what. Is it Australia? Is it hard?
It's Valentine's Day. So because you're being too even, ever so in your head, without even thinking about pressing a little harder on one side, then the other, not the other. Like, see how it's moving and you're coming back.
Nothing. You want to have it?
No, go ahead.
I'm just going to put one over other.
There
So
you go.
you would
There you
get
go.
divorced, you know?
Oh, okay,
You would
Nah.
get divorced.
Shit,
I'm
you
gonna
won't
get
get divorced.
She
The
won't get
mother-in-law
married.
will have a pet peeve on you that, oh, you, and you know the way they say it? Oh, I think somebody's mother didn't teach her properly. And then you're like mocking her with her mom. I just use one.
You trying to get the whole part of the
This will get very hot. If you just cast iron. So you have those little cutie things set up.
Yeah.
Some people have at home, you know.
I have it like, yeah, I have those. I have the same large cast iron. Oh, that works really well. It's been there with me for like,
Best pans
that-
there are, yes.
yeah, I bought it for $8 in Illinois as the first kitchen purchase, and I still have it.
Uh-huh.
Maybe you should try
They are good. They last forever until you let them rust.
Wait, yours can just really literally hard.
That's fine.
Is it
So-
thin enough?
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so let's come on over.
Survival.
Go ahead.
I'm not, I love your
Go
heart.
ahead. So,
Should it be no oil in here though?
no, nothing. Oil is afterwards. So all I would do is, yeah, it depends on how you want to do it, but just give a little bit of
How
heat.
can I get it more?
Wait, wait. Okay, flip it. Flip it. Yeah, flip it. Yeah, good. Yes.
Now goes
You
the real
want to try
part.
it? Oh, I guess I'm here.
If you've done it properly, it will fluff up. If you didn't do it properly, yeah. Okay, now flip it onto the fire. Flip it, yeah. Okay, and keep flipping it now. You don't want it to get too. Yeah, flip it. Yeah, a little bit of the black marks. Yeah, that's it. Remove.
You gotta understand that a lot of these foods, there were no ovens.
Yeah.
And the Indians invented an oven called the tandoor. But they buried it in sand.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And you make a pile of these for
Yeah.
dinner?
Lunch, dinner, whatever. It's always there.
Yeah.
Now somebody in Singapore automated this. So I have that machine in the house. It's like $1,500. It spits it out, but it does the rolling and everything. But I don't like it. I leave it.
1,500. That's a lot of money.
No, for the wives, it's worth it.
Oh, yeah. I get it. I understand now. I understand.
You're married?
Yes,
How
I
long?
understand. 40 years.
Oh, okay, yeah, you know it.
So these are only made in a pan. You wouldn't put these in the oven, in a tandoori.
No, so the
No.
tandoori ones, if
The
you
dough's
remember
different.
again, northern India,
Yeah.
they always, so wherever it is cold, you have an oven. Wherever it is hot, there is nothing. So
Gotcha.
in the tandoori, you'll make it for a large family.
Mhm.
And once it is heated up, you will make a lot of them.
Gotcha.
So that is again, regular, regular flour.
Yeah.
It's not the whole
Okay.
wheat flour,
Gotcha.
because that you will make and keep them.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Is there usually like one oven for like the whole town or something like that? Is like one oven for the whole town?
so, no, for the
No? For the
joint
family,
family
okay.
house.
Okay, so
Family.
the first one, okay. So this gets a little bit, yeah, flip it over. Yeah. okay. Is it on?
And then.
Okay. Now you take and then directly put it. It's off. Wait a minute.
It's gotta get a little browner.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Chef Joe is moving. It is.
Good.
Yes.
See it?
See, it was the rolling pin.
It was moving.
Now put it, flip it onto the fire. Okay, flip it. Okay, that's fine. Leave it. I'll do it. I'm used to doing it with time.
Both your hands, if you look at it, you'll see that.
Yeah. Now put a little bit of the oil.
And the oil keeps it soft.
So usually use clarified butter, it gives some more flavor.
But it's like that.
No,
Really?
the clarified butter, if you get the real Indian ghee stuff,
Oh, okay.
that's,
Yeah, it's different.
it's different here. And yeah, that's, yeah. Yeah. So if you make
I
this,
just want to shake.
I'm good. And it don't need no more oil.
no,
You just gotta, if you just keep it on, if you leave it pressure.
That's what I wanted to hear.
no.
That's right, just play with it. If you don't care about cooking it, you can
So
always.
you'll find a lot of.
It'll just be
dry food
tougher and
that
tougher
you-
every time you do it.
Wait,
So
yeah.
This part more important.
Yours look awesome.
is it moving right for you? That's good.
Okay, flip it. That's good.
Yeah, so yours is coming back. Yeah, no, it's moving. See, now it's making me hungry,
Mhm.
and that's not good. I don't like to be hungry.
So Joe don't like to eat.
I get like a grizzly bear when I'm hungry.
Okay, flip it onto the fire.
When I was in high
This
school,
one?
we had an introduction to
Because if I don't think it's.
Oh, they've done pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
and we had
Okay, flip it. You want to see a little bit of the black marks? So I would move it around.
It's hard to find, but it's good. There used to be a restaurant, there's a restaurant still on South Street
Yeah.
called Indian Restaurant. Around
So
19.
this kind of routines you'll never find in restaurants unless it's really traditional. Typically not in North America because You'll eat a lot of them.
I don't know, it looks like these ladies aren't wife materials.
Huh?
about
They're
wife
good.
material over here.
They're good. Wife material? Okay, you want to know wife material? Is have nothing like this. No, it's like don't have this, don't have this.
Yeah, use your hands.
And they use the hands like I do it, right?
Yeah.
Because I did. But then if you look at it, oh, she's like, and then, oh, okay, out.
I saw- I
That's what
saw-
you're handing now?
Okay, so this one, okay, so this is a little bit thick. What will happen with the thick is it won't fluff up and it will take much longer. And what happens is this is very hot, so it will get hot. So let's do something. That's the rolling pin. What I would do, I'll make a bigger one of this.
I saw a video where a woman was making, looks like crepes on a heated stone. And she got her hand in the batter and put it all over the stone like that. And picked it up and turned it. But she had her hand all over the
I'll
stone.
make a big one.
So it
for
was
you.
hot, you know.
A stone?
It's a stone that heats. I forgot what the name of it is. Chef, do you know the name
It's
of it?
like a piece of stone.
It's a big stone and they heat it from underneath and they cook on top of it. And she swirled the batter with her
Usually
hand,
this
waited a
is as
minute,
thin
picked
as
it up and
possible,
turned it and then took
Because
it off.
then it's
kept doing it.
faster
Oh, wow.
and it will cook everywhere. Otherwise, if it's thicker like the other bread, then you have to bake it and there's no baking time. Right? And that's why. And if you put this with the thick one, it will get really hard. You can't eat it.
So the fact of the matter is, if I was making these for myself at home by myself, I would make one giant one. And tear it up with both hands and say,
Right.
burrito
out
cares
of it.
about the rules.
I'm used to it that I'll always get it round, right? Because like that's how the mentally I'm tuned up. Oh, it has to be as round as possible. But then yeah, it's fine with any shape. So a new girl who's
And you said
making it,
this is with all
you
your
know what
nails?
she'll do? You have something, you put it and then just patch it up.
So you said you eat these with all of your nails?
Huh?
You eat this with all of your
Most
nails?
of it. So we'll make a curry and eat this. So that's usually a vegetable. So there's lots of, it's not as soupy, it will be more dry.
Mhm.
We'll eat it with this. Then we'll make the actual curry with lentils, however, if it's really soupy, that we'll eat with a little bit of rice. And that's 4 things. And then you have a salad, so 5. And then a little bit of curd rice at the end, yogurt, whatever. So that's like 6, 7. And that's how your meal is finished.
When you're done, show them the picture of the
Compartmentries.
the one you showed me yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Or-
Yeah, that's fine.
No, no, you-
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So this looks like an injera. Have you been to
It's a
Ethiopian
very
place?
rustic cooking.
No?
I'm afraid not.
Oh, okay, so they make big ones, but that's again, so their food is somewhat similar to ours.
So
The
who's for-
Ethiopian
Oh,
food,
Ethiopia.
the injera and then the vegetables. Yeah. Yeah. That is somewhat similar to what we cook.
Probably harder to do a cutting board, though.
Yeah, it's not smooth. Come here, come over here and do it.
That's one.
Yeah.
It's like you get yelled at when you're a little kid.
Put it
playing
with
with
this.
food.
And then put it on the fire. Flip it onto the fire. Top goes on the fire first. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and flip it. Oh, you don't want it to burn. Oh, okay. Okay, now,
And so
if
then
you are
when
experienced,
push it
there are some parts which are not cooked.
pushing more.
So I would take them,
And move them around.
move them around. I hate that.
So it's to exaggerate.
Okay. And now you take some of the oil and tap the whole thing with oil. Butter.
Yeah, you could. It's not-
He was taking little pushes. not
Huh?
big
If I knew, I would have had the butter ready for you. if you needed
That's
butter.
it. I didn't think. Yeah, we should do with whatever we have. Okay. Be generous. Okay. So then if you are in India and let's say you're a guest,
Yes.
we'll put it there Then they'll take a whole ladle of like clarified butter, like a big ladle, and they'll pour it. And no, enough. You are not well fed. We have to feed you more, fatten you.
Just like the Italians.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Go ahead. Okay. So if you want to have a nice round thing, you won't use this. But yeah, turn it around.
Yeah, we were experimenting.
Too thin. No, now you have to use that. Sorry.
Can't get rid.
No,
No,
so go
onto the
straight
fire.
onto the- Other way. It won't fluff up other way.
See, it's fluffing up.
Yeah, turn it around. Yeah, see that it's all cooked. Yeah, good.
Oh, needs a lot of oil.
Yeah, and then put some oil on it.
If you don't put the oil, it'll turn into a cookie in an instant.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll become a crack.
Pretty cool.
It's
Cool stuff.
It seriously is.
So this is the regular things. Then there's one more which you can't make with your rolling pin. It's a grain called jawar and bajra. So there is a native Indian. You used to have it even in southern part of America as well. Amaranth and those kinds of grain.
Cameron?
No,
Amaranth?
amaranth.
Amaranth. Okay.
Amaranth, and there are some other millets which you get here, which used to be.
You can
So
get-
that one,
you can buy millets. But
Yeah,
they're not-
but
just
they're not.
popular.
and in India you'll get them ground because everything has to be ground, and they do it properly because you can't have a grinding mill which is doing wheat do any of the other mill. He has to change the stone, otherwise it will be horrible.
Oh, okay.
And it's a different
Be
way.
a different texture. So here, at the home, you often see them in the market. Have you noticed that the flour company Red
Red
Mill?
Red Mill.
Have you seen them when you're walking down the aisle? If you look, you'll see millets in there.
Yeah, it's the first one that pops up on that guy, right?
There
Yeah.
you go.
It's the first one that pops up. If you Google millet flour, it's the first one to pop up.
So that one you can't roll it. You have to do it with your hand, and that is really skill
You gonna roll with your hand
You
because
use the palm of your hand.
no.
like that?
If you
Oh, your
go
finger.
ahead on YouTube, on your phone, on YouTube, just put in Jawar, JOWAR,
Okay.
JOWAR space BHAK
I got it. Jawar Bakati.
Bakri. Yes. Just look at how it is made. So that's made on the hand.
On the palm.
So usually you can like tap it up, or some ladies can do it on the hand.
Yeah.
I
I see
can.
them make the ladies make the tortillas.
Oh yeah,
Go back and forth like that.
but the amount of skill it takes with that particular
that's-
flour
it's
is
gotta be real
you
thin,
have to have like you can't just say okay I'll try it today. Like this came out easy that all of them could get it.
This healthy and nutritious
Sorry.
protein is a must-have in your diet. And it's a
Yeah.
staple
Jawar?
food in some
No,
parts of
bhakri.
India.
This
This
space
ancient Greek
space
food
BHA.
is very high in protein.
Yeah. And that's typically where I was born. That's the regular
Patri in
food
Malayalam.
there.
Pinch of lemon-sized
No,
tomatoes
that's
and again eating a
roti.
couple of times
No,
a
that
day.
you have to
Salt.
make it.
Now place the chapati press with the ghee to
Go
prevent
down.
it from sticking.
Go down.
Place the small dough in the press, not in the center, but slightly up, and then press it once. Make sure that both the sides of
Oh,
they're using a press.
Huh? There is okay, I think this
Now
one.
press it
Habas
once
kitchen.
more and perfect jawar roti is easily
No, not roti.
remove it carefully and
Yeah.
jawar
Go.
dust off excess flour and place on the hot tawa. Now once it starts to get heated, press a wet cloth lightly on
Yeah,
the
let's see.
and once
So yeah, it is
comes
usually
out,
it's boiling water,
flip it
so it cannot be cold.
down with a spatula and once
This one, they're using a press.
No.
Yeah.
The hand one is. Oh my! There's where I live in Toronto. I have a neighbor, and she makes it the traditional way. Oh man, it's like it's usually boiling.
Oh, okay. She's showing different ways how to do it.
Yeah, so that's the way.
So you're working around them. Okay.
But then there are some ladies who make it
Yeah.
quickly, and you're seeing it, and then like while talking to you, they would have made it and put it on.
Just like smacking it.
Yeah.
Stretching. Maybe you do the pizza dough. So
Yeah. But it has to be hot.
Oh.
So it's boiling water, and if it cools down,
Can't
you
stretch.
can't stretch it. So it has to be hot. So you have to be really talented in knowing how to do it. Otherwise, you're like,
More you full?
if you want, how much is left?
Here.
Oh, we have all this.
We have a lot to do.
Okay, let's come on. Okay, then why are we cooling it?
Because we started talking, chef. That's why there's no talking in the kitchen. Just orders.
Okay. Want to practice? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, so this side is a little bit, not too much. Flip it, and then the third is there. So you should always have it hot. This is not hot enough. Yeah, and not done. It's not touching everywhere. That's why it has to be flat. If you start getting folds, that's yeah. So now you take this and then put it on the fire. Yep. Go ahead. No,
Upside
flip.
So the idea here is you're trapped, there's still some moisture in the middle and you want to get that to steam fast and that causes the,
So if I'm cooking on this side.
it's already hot, you know, the cold side, you gotta create steam, you know?
Perfect.
They're not a whole
Okay.
lot different.
Somebody wants to do this?
Not a whole lot
Yeah.
difference in temperature, but.
I
Yeah.
have some more if you want to.
Yeah, keep doing.
No, you can come around.
Come on.
Oh, okay.
No, you do it. Everybody should practice. You have enough food for
Not
today.
a whole lot difference
Come
in
here.
temperature, but
Yeah, put
nonetheless, the top side's cooler than the bottom side.
Yeah, now you can do it fast. Okay. Okay, take this.
Excuse me, sorry about that.
Take this. Flip it. Okay, now take the tongs. Just have a little bit of the bubbles, and then you flip it onto this.
They've been rolled for a while.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they've been, some of them have been rolled for 10 minutes. It's good, it's still popping up.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
Not a lot. Because it's set, right?
It's dried out. It was dried out in the bowl.
Sitting in the bowl.
If the bowl was covered or if there was some moisture in the bowl.
Usually we don't have anything. We do it. I'm doing this. So it's usually the same person doing same.
Same as you do flour and tortillas, but you can see this is already like.
So that is that. How much is that?
The bottom ones might be okay.
Yeah, they were covered.
Yes.
Oh, somebody did a heart again.
Yes.
Was it you?
We got practice at making hearts.
I didn't make any money.
I know, we got, there's
I
9
couldn't
months.
make a
So
soup.
so
11
usually
months. 11 months till Valentine's Day, but we'll be ready. We'll be okay.
so we are like usually it's like, oh, the new person is gone. Ah, it's going to be Australia. Somebody said, it will be Africa today. It's like yeah, betting on what shape it will come out. And then the grandma who's mad at all of us is like, oh man, you're going to break it into pieces anyway. So why do you care? Yeah,
They
see?
don't, looks like she's not working it a lot. No, don't want to create too much food.
Okay. Want to put the oil on it?
Oh, sure.
Any more left?
The more the better. You can't put too much oil.
Let me know when I put it in the corner.
Okay, I'll make.
That's like, this is definitely African
It
or South American.
is
Probably
African.
Sicily. All right.
Sicily.
Yeah. Could be Sicily.
I'm just going to use it up. And stuff, so
Yes.
No need to waste.
You want to do it?
Yeah. Where you roll.
No,
No, that's on fire. It was already flipped.
Section?
Should just have a brush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go. Joe. No, thank you. Matter of fact, you can put that right in the recycling bucket. Somebody has the tongs if you want them.
You're here, it's enough.
I'm all right.
Flip it there, but
Go before you put it down.
you put the top side onto the fire. The top side from the pan goes on the fire, becomes the bottom side. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yes, it's not necessary.
loves
Put that thing on. So you can turn it off.
He loves that.
Oh, I just thought it was.
flip it.
And then flip it.
Yep, just as the bubbles.
This is a little bit longer than the top.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's a beautiful circle. That's a really beautiful circle.
The fire middle, yeah. Put it on the fire. Yeah. Now you cook it on the fire.
Look at that.
Wow, that's it. Oh, right. Everybody's beautiful now. Awesome. Beautiful.
If you add the Indian flour, each one will fluff up into a proper ball. No other dough left, right? Okay, there you go. Last one. Okay.
So what do you get, about a dozen out of what you made? Maybe a little more?
Probably. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah.
Wow.
And then
So 11.
Some are
10,
too
11,
big,
12.
and some are eaten.
this is typically the size.
Mhm.
I was waiting till they're all finished before
Start attacking.
Oh, yeah. But I'm not-
There's plenty of them here to eat.
On the weekend, when sometimes I'm really frustrated, I'll go and start making these. And my wife is like, okay, now we know we shouldn't be talking to this guy for 2 hours.
Leave them alone for a while.
Yeah, because for me, it is like, relaxation. You're doing something, you're involved. Right.
That's a beautiful.
Okay, so this is the Indian bread. So
Awesome.
in Indian language, it's called a fulka. Fulka? Phulka. Fulka.
Start with the big.
Huh?
P.
Yeah. Fulka.
Philadelphia.
Okay. This is what. And usually instead of oil, it's ghee clarified butter.
Yeah. It's not olive oil.
Thank you, chef.
Thank you very much. Learned something today.
Thank you. First time in my life, I'm teaching a culinary class.
There you go. And then, so now next time you don't have bread at home and you're hungry, all you need is flour and water and salt, right?
You got a little something going on.
Did you guys make a two sandwich on that?
Oh,
definitely.
The next time your chef says, let's come up with a new dish today, you get flour, water, and salt.